and this is when we get to the big bump. Now, did I wuss out? Absolutely. Should I have got the table in a different place? Yes. I wanted to take this bump. I want to, when all's said and done, I want to have like a checklist of things that I've ticked. So I'm Aho here. Thank you very much for joining me as always. And that's right. Today we are going to react to another wrestling match today from UPW and UPW Steel Cage, which was a pay-per-view, I suppose. That's what it was. You had to pay to watch it or go there live. That I did back in October. It was title versus title, me versus Adam Maxted. There will be a link in the description below for their streaming service where you can watch all my matches for UPW, which you should do. Because down in UPW, and I've told you before, but in case you're brand new, is where I get to do my proper wrestling heel character. That's right.
If I could just be serious for 1 second.
Moneymaker Miller, he's an asshole. He bought his way to the top. That's why I became a champion. I stole the title from Adam Maxted. He then went and won another championship, which led us to a steel cage. And basically, it's good storytelling, right? The reason there was a steel cage is because I kept having people interfere on my behalf. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, still ends with like 1997 WCW shenanigans, but who the hell cares? I thought we could sit through it, we could go through it, especially because I do take a bump off the top of the cage and I fall through the table, and as the title of this video suggests, yes, I thought I'd broken my neck. So we start here. Again, I got to talk quite loud because UPW used licensed music and I don't want YouTube to go mad at me, which it definitely will. There's my manager, Lewis Rossiter, doing his thing. He is the guy that took me to the dark side, I suppose. And this was I wanted to have something different, right? Because it was title versus title, I thought, maybe I can get like a gold robe. And this is the only gold robe that I could get, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. But at least I look like an idiot. I just want to look like an idiot. I just want to look stupid as much as I possibly can. And actually, here's something that ties it into fitness. I've got a video about this going up soon. I didn't realize at this point. I've only figured this out the last week. Turns out I'm lactose intolerant. Who knew? Not me. I didn't have a clue. But I've been struggling with bloat a lot recently, and I had no idea what it was. I didn't eat a lot of dairy, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me. But before this match, I bloated really badly. I never liked my physique anyway. I'm not saying it because of that, but I bloated really badly. And now I know what it was. It's because I had, anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's just something that really annoyed me because I tried to get in really good shape for this, and I was all bloated. I was like, why? And I'm pretty sure it was that. I like that shot as well. I don't know why. I like an absolute moron. But I like the fact as well that kids were booing me. Kids were mad at me. Kids were calling me an asshole. That's my job, right? My job is to rile everybody up. Steel cage is quite scary too. Like, it's one thing watching it on television for as many years as I'm sure we all have. I'd never been in one before in terms of having a match. And yeah, the first time you kind of get thrown into it, you're like, oh, all right, yeah, that sucks. And that's because it does suck. So yeah, we came up with some cool spots though. Of course, we will go through during this. And yeah, I took that robe off as quickly as I possibly could because, well, it was a ridiculous thing to do. And there's my man, Adam Maxted. I call him my man, my enemy, my mortal rival, whatever you want to call him. Really good dude. I know I've done a Maxted match on here before and I've said that, but he's a good guy. He just is. He's a nice guy and I like him a lot. And it also ties into the opening that we came up with that I'll talk about when we do get there. Also, check out the Moneymaker t-shirt. That's right. Going to be marketing them soon. It's actually quite a good logo. Lewis got it made. I was like, that's really pretty. This is really pretty damn good. So we'll definitely do something with that. And it goes to show whether you're in WWE, AEW, WCW back in the day, whatever it be, Ring of Honor, you have a steel cage match, and it's always a little bit hard to see what's going on. So we do the introductions. Obviously, Lewis does mine because I'm a bad guy. I'm an idiot, and we want to rile people up. Let me just jump forward a little bit because as we were doing mine, we came up with this thing. It wasn't me. Somebody else came up that I can't remember. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. I know I'm ranting and raving over the top. He shouts, "Do it now, Miller." So what do? Oh, I think I've gone too far. I've gone too early. I don't want to spoil it for you. I mean, it's not really a spoiler at all. It's not even that good. I just liked it as an idea. So we're building up. This is Simon Miller, heavyweight champion of the world. We're loving it. And he says my name. And then he says, do it now, because Maxted isn't ready, and I smack him in the head with the belt. I loved it. I love it. Do the jumping hug. Big fan of a jumping hug in professional wrestling. And then taking my shot off in wrestling is always horrendous. I'm not happy with how I look. I'm just not. And I'm so bloated. It's absolutely terrible. Now, I have watched this once. Those kicks are all right. They weren't so bad. Some of them are going to go awry. I don't know what happens. I just honestly think most of my heel work comes down in UPW, and I just still think I'm getting better at it. It's as simple as that. I've done a lot of babyface stuff. I felt a lot more confident as a babyface, and that's probably what it was. But I did Again, you have no idea how much that hurts. It doesn't even look like much because, again, we've seen so much craziness. And that's just bad punches, that is. Again, with wrestling, everything needs to be exaggerated. Don't ever do rabbit punches. But again, that's me not thinking. Like an absolute schmo. An absolute moron. And don't worry, you can go mad in the comments. No one cringes more than I. Don't worry about this. What was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought now, whatever I was talking about. Yeah, we'll go with confidence. So I'm just more confident as a babyface than I am as a heel. And because of that, I'm probably overthinking things. I'm not in the moment. I'm not going with impulses, etc., etc. But that's okay, because now that I've watched this, the next time I do a heel match, it will be in my head. And we learn and we talk about this all the time. No idea why I decided to do the Bryan Danielson. What they called? Star jumps. They don't call them star jumps in America. They're called jumping jacks. And Adam Maxted comes fighting back. But come on now. That's not going to happen. Big old. The thing I like about UPW as well, in fact, he probably got mad at that because that's a forearm. So these are the bad stomps. I watch those back. It's like, again, they're rabbit ones. And it's because I think what's happening is, see, that's better, Stone Cold. But I think when you do the little rabbit ones, it's because you are, or at least I think I am. This is what I do. I'm 3 moves ahead. I'm 3 moves ahead. And when you're 3 moves ahead and thinking, what am I going to do in a minute? You really have to be in the moment, be it acting, stand-up comedy, wrestling, all those kind of things really serve a purpose. It's okay. Like I say, I've done a lot of babyface work. I'm quite confident as a babyface. Heel is a completely different dynamic. Look at that pin. Absolutely ridiculous. That is not a man in good shape either. Hopefully you've checked my video out from the other day as well. This all tied into that when I was watching matches back like this, and I was like, man, I've got to do better. Although I'm not just saying it. I don't believe in excuses, and I believe you have to hold yourself accountable, which again is what that video was about. But I tell you this, an hour before I went out, I was like, why the hell am I so bloated? And at the time I put it down to the fact that maybe I was just nervous, which is an understandable thing, right? People get nervous. And you send your hormones all crazy, fight or flight. But no, I'd eaten like a protein bar or some yogurt or something, and now I'm convinced that's what it was. Don't get me wrong, it wouldn't have turned me into I'm not gonna like Triple H circa 2001 all of a sudden. But I do think a lot of it, I remember I was so uncomfortable walking out there. But hey ho, man, apparently 70% of people can become lactose intolerant from nowhere in adult. And I may have just fallen into that category, which sucks, but I've got my lactase pill, I've got a blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I've got a video going for that, I don't want to say too much. There's his big drop kick. I was happy with the way I sold that. I can't lie. Sometimes I sell drop kicks and it looks like I fell over like a tree. That one I actually thought, there's a nice little ping on it. Again, it helps that it's Max that he delivers such a good drop kick, and he's just really good. He just is. Big old clothesline, which I tell you, man, you may not think stuff like this hurts. I tell you, they ain't fun. Not in a bad way. Just sometimes it's just that you just get smacked by one. I don't even remember this. Do not remember him giving me that slam. What are we going for now? Oh, big. I don't remember any of this. I've watched this match twice, so that doesn't make any sense. Kick out 2 Miller. That's right. Go for those ropes. Yeah, 2. You tell them. See, I have no recollection now. It's all gone. It's all gone somewhere deep inside of my brain. The crowd was really into it though, which was cool. And it was a hard night in the sense that I understand why we had to do it. There was just no time to take the cage down and then set it up again. So we had to do a whole night of steel cage like TNA used to do with Lockdown. But it just meant that every single steel cage had to be different. And I do genuinely believe that they pulled it off. Again, you can go on their streaming services in the description down there, and you can check it out for yourself. It's only a few pounds. It's really, really cheap. But I really do think that they nailed that. And it was a hard thing to pull off. And this is the best thing about the cage too. Anytime you're on the top rope or doing anything, it's not worrisome, but it's quite hard because you're wibbly wobbly. But you can just hold on to the cage. I was like, this is fantastic. Although I was so disappointed in this, I promised myself I wasn't going to do it, and I let myself down, which happens. So I fight Maxted off. So I'm going to do a top rope shoulder tackle. Usually I do a second rope shoulder tackle as like a hope spot. But today I was like, I'm going to do a top rope. It'll be okay because I can, balance myself up there, and then I landed on my knees. Don't land on your knees. You've got to land flat. And so I wussed out of that one, which annoyed me a lot. It just happens sometimes. Like, you're in constant fight with your brain, basically, when you're wrestling. Because it's like, what do you mean you want to... you want to do this stuff? Why the hell? So the story here was like, that was all I had. I'm so rubbish. All I had was, well, we're hitting with the belt, and I'm sure I'll beat him in a few minutes. And then when I wasn't able to, I'm going to try and get out of there, which is dumb because the rule was you can only win by pinfall or submission. I just wanted to be an idiot. That's all it was. Some people, Miller, that didn't make any sense. Honestly, I understood this. We chatted about it. I just wanted to be as stupid as humanly possible. And because I went in there with no game plan, like a fighter, right, that hasn't done their training camp, and it was going to be like, what can I do? Now, this was Maxted's spot. He came up with this. I was well nervous, but it was really good. He was like, again, given that we have the cage and we can use it as somewhat of a pivot point, why don't we do kind of like a springboard suplex off the middle of the rope? And I was like, okay. And we did it. I was quite happy with that. I think that's all right. I think that's all right. Like I said, there's a better angle. There you go. Here's the better angle. Like, that couldn't have gone any better. And I was secretly really happy. I know people have done more crazy stuff, and I'm not a crazy wrestler. You may as well put me in like 1987, the amount of stuff I do. But sometimes you can just do simple things, and you watch back at the execution of it. You're like, oh, that's fine. That did exactly what it was meant to, exactly what it said on the tin. I think we now get into a punch battle again. UPW loves loves punch battles. And it does help because, again, my punches still need work, but they're so much better than they were because, again, if you do them all the time, that's just what happens. I enjoy selling a punch too. I don't know why. I like wibbling my head like a moron. It's all Austin and Rock stuff, though. They used to do this the best. And even, I would listen to Mankind rake his eyes. Even Mankind, Mick Foley said the other day, Stone Cold, I think, just really stiff when it came to those stuff. Man, do I like a good rake to the eyes. I don't remember this at all. What's this? Oh, Randy on Power Slam. See, I should have jumped into that quicker. That needs to be snappier. That's on me. Like my kick out, though. That desperation kick out. But yeah, I should have jumped and snapped a bit more. He had to take a lot of my weight there, so I probably mistimed that. But again, Max did such a pro. He'd make it work anyway. He could completely screw it up and he'd figure it out. So this was a playoff on our first match where he went for it, ducked, throw him into the cage, and then hit the spear, which is what I won the first match with. Not the best spear I've ever done. After I hit him with a bottle too. In fact, actually, it's this spear that's made me change my spear. I'm going to have another match going up soon where hopefully I'll have proof. But yeah, I made sure that my other leg is coming up far earlier now, so it's more like a leap into it. That's all right. It happens. It's more like a rugby tackle. Now, the reason, this is my favourite match, we'll get back to that in a second. So that referee has been, in my world, screwing me over the entire time. So I told him, really get in my face, push me, and then I'm going to take you out. I just smacked the referee, because that's what you're allowed to do. Yeah, the whole reason that we made sure that Max had kicked out of the spear, which has been my finish for a while, is because I got a new finisher, which we'll talk about in just 1 second. This is pure WCW now. This is my referee that I've paid off, and I won a bunch of matches because, again, I'd secretly paid him off and nobody knew. And so the whole idea is, oh man, maybe they're gonna, maybe they're going to do it again, which is hilarious, right? Like, it's so over the top. And actually, I do think a few people thought that we were maybe going to, let it happen, which is not the case. You got to have the babyface win. But I go for whatever I was going for, my powerbomb, my pile driver. I get back body drop, and now Maxton has to get his revenge against the dodgy referee who's been running through UPW and being an absolute maniac. Look how quickly he went, though. He climbed a cage faster than I did. I was impressed. And what I love about this is he takes the flare flop off the top. He's dead for the rest of the match. Love referees in wrestling. Dead. Murdered. It is so damn funny. Now, this is when I come in, I see him, and I hit the money drop. Right? That's my new finisher. Now, again, could have done more than my legs, sort of flicked them out a little bit more, but it's a work in progress. And bless Max that he said he was going to sell it and take it as hard as he possibly could. But yeah, that's going to be my new finisher. And we talked about this on the teaser video I did for this. See, look, my knees come down. I wussed out again. What an idiot. But I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I told him to kick out of it at one point. It was just like, no, you haven't even done it yet. But I get carried away. I get super duper excited. So this is where I see Maxted kind of, he's not down, he's stirring, he's got movement, and I'm like, what am I meant to do? I'm out of it. I've got no ideas. I've zero ideas left. This is not what I wanted to do. And this is not, it's not my plan. So once again, I'm just going to get out of there. Now, the only reason I'm getting out of there is so we can set up another spot. But I want this character to come across like the biggest jackass and the biggest moron and the biggest fool that you've ever seen in your life. And I remember I slipped in too, and I was like, damn this cage. Because I was so damn sweaty at this point. I'm pretty sweaty now. I'm just sat in a room. So I'll talk about climbing over the cage in a minute because we do it again. It is not easy, man. And given this is it's a big cage, but I'm going to assume that there are bigger ones in the sort of the major companies. I tell you, we don't give wrestlers respect. And I'm not just saying that or enough respect. I'm not just saying that because I am a wrestler. I'm saying that when you actually do it, you realize how scary and how crazy this stuff is. And the tippity-top stars do it effortlessly. And they take crazier bumps than this. Now, again, this was a Max Dead special, really good. He goes, well, why don't I give you an RKO, a cutter off the top? And I was like, damn right. So he did that. Again, I let that my leg was trailing a little bit. I should have taken that flatter, but I'm more happy with that one than I am with the other ones. So I'm pretty much dead now, but of course the referee is still down, even though he just got punched. But I like this. It was the classic, like, that could easily be a finish. So we get the 2, but no, he gave me my moment. There's my moment. I should have held that just a second longer. But I don't like looking at the ref, Some people like doing the whole looking at the ref, which is fine. There's ways and means. I would prefer to try and time it right. That wasn't timed right. So I don't actually... what happens now? I don't remember what happens in this match. I'm genuinely intrigued. Because Max, he's got to do something. What the hell does he do? I actually don't know. I'm invested now. Let's see what's going to happen. Kicks out Lewis, because you would do that. You never know what he's going to get up to. He says, that's right, I remembered. He gets me up for his finish, which I do take later, which we'll talk about. It's kind of a terrifying finish, like a reverse AA. I'm like, nah, screw that. So I give him the worst punches in the head that you've ever seen. And now I'm like, screw it. I am out of here. I give him one kick, give him another one, realize he's still coming at me. So I give him a third one that was really bad, that kick. I didn't notice that before. That was like a mule kick. That's terrible. And now we go over, and I tell you, when you've had a wrestling match and you've got to climb over a steel cage, it is not easy. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm a fool. Well, I am all of these things. But it's a precarious... It's a precarious situation, and this is when we get to the big bump. Now, did I wuss out? Absolutely. Should I have got the table in a different place? Yes. I wanted to take this bump. I want to, when all's said and done, I want to have like a checklist of things that I've ticked. I wanted to take the Shawn Michaels 1997 bump as much as you can. Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood. As much as you can. So, the table is down there, but you will see. Like, the irony is it still hurt like hell. So I probably did do the best thing, because I honestly, when I hit the table, we'll talk about it now. When I hit the table, I slammed my head on it, because I didn't take this fall well at all. So thank goodness that I did take it in the way that I did. I mean, it's delayed, and it's slow, and it probably lacks the impact. I should have gone then, but I didn't, because I was scared. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. But if I hadn't have done this, I think I would have taken even worse. But I am teeter-tottering, going to go down. And look, you can just see me preparing for it, which is silly. I shouldn't have done. That's not the way to do it. And I tell you, that sucked. That really, really sucked. There was a moment when everything went quiet. I needed to give myself 30 seconds to make sure that I was all right. Thankfully, I was. I had a massive bump on my head for a few days afterwards. And I'm glad that I did it. I don't think I'd do it again without the right circumstances, but I could have done it better. And like I've already said, execution is so important in professional wrestling. It's all a learning curve, so I'm not massively worried about it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't, I wouldn't sit down and discuss it. But when you can do something better, you can do something better. It's as simple as that. That's all it is. So now Lewis is going to get involved, spit some water in Adam Max's face, because he's like, well, Miller's screwed, and we can't lose the championship. We need the other championship. We've been working for this for so long. And of course, because Lewis is a moron within the characterization, he runs into the ring, which means now he's all alone with Adam Maxted, who is being screwed. He has been screwing with for 12 months. Of course, you beg off. He tries to run away. Also, somehow is able to scarper up a cage quicker than I can. Don't know what it says about my athletic ability. Maxted catches him. Don't forget the other ref is still down from a flare flop. I love it, though. And this is when Country Big comes out. Now, Country Big has a Miller dollar. That's right, we have Miller dollars. I paid somebody else off. Look at that Miller dollar in his... Yeah, I love it so much. So Country Big takes him out. Country Big had already lost to James Storm early in the night, which is also going to turn him. Hit him with the bell. Look at that. Isn't that great? Didn't he pull that off so well? I think so. When I first watched this back, I was like, oh, that's awesome. But yeah, well, once again, it's another contingency plan from Money Inc. Not Money Inc. WWF will come and sue us, or WWE these days. But he comes out. I'm dead, obviously. But he's going to... Don't get... Max has just been hit in the head with a kettlebell. And as we all know, a cowbell, whatever you want to call it, that is devastating. Anything more devastating than that is a surprise roller. So he is currently on the outside trying to get my ass up. But I was so desperate. I think I forgot about the pace of this thing. I was so desperate to sell it, I really made him drag me. In hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. In hindsight, I should have... I should have been a bit quicker. And then this is when this is quite funny with James Storms, I'll tell you. He apologized afterwards. Simon, I'm so sorry. Somebody told me to go out. And yes, that's TNA's James Storm, right? Impact Wrestling, NXT for a while. Someone told him to go out too early, and I didn't know what I was talking about. Then I watched it back and went, oh yeah, that is too early. Another false finish though. Big Country pulls me over. Max Dead kicks out. He gets his moment. Big Country does I didn't notice that last time. Does that awesome facial expression. And this is when we get into the good stuff, because of course we need a hero, we need a savior. You got James Storm on the show, legend, absolute legend, really nice guy too. Like, couldn't have been more pleasant. Of course, you want to tie into that. So he's meant to come out now, but it doesn't matter. Like, maybe the reason sorry, let me start again. The takeaway I had from it, I think it was actually better because maybe I paid him off too. I like the fact he was this ominous Batman presence. You don't know what is going to happen in the story. We may go full 1997 and go nuts. And that's kind of what these guys did here. Now, Country Big can still go after him because, they've had the fight. He smashed him with the beer bottle, which is cool. Lewis is all like, man, I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. So he's like, okay, look, I'll pay him off with Miller dollars. I mean, you can see what's going to happen now. But that's why I think it works. I think it gives like a little spin to the whole thing. Pretends to take the money, says no, throws it in his face, gets the bottle, really clocks Lewis with this. He had a bump on his head too, but it does look good. I don't know if Lewis is going to watch his back. Look great. Looks so damn good. And this is when, I can't remember if we planned it. I think this may have been an audible. I don't think we planned this. We planned the flip, so basically I get back to my feet, which makes no sense. How the hell am I so damn tough? But it ties into a cool finish. I see James Storm like, what the hell are you doing, pal? And I get to flip him off, which is, imagine you told me that when I started training. So I flip off James Storm, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. I don't care about you. Got quite a good reaction, which I liked. And then I took the damn super kick from James Storm, which is fantastic, into Max Dead's finish, which again, I thought I took flatter than I did. Now I'm talking about this a lot. I want to take things flat, but my knees came up again. It makes me so mad. Just a wuss, Miller. Stop being a wuss. 1, 2, 3, new undisputed champion. Now, are there elements of that match that could be better? Absolutely, on my heart, not on anybody else's. Do I like the story? Yes. Do I like all the madness? Yes. Do I like the shenanigans? Yes. When it was all said and done, did I lay there going, you know what, that was all right? Absolutely. I had a hell of a time. I had a whale of a time, and I look forward to doing more stuff with everybody involved in this very soon. So thank you to Max Dead, James Storm, Lewis, Country Big, all of UPW. I'm going to forget some people, so I'm going to stop it there because I regret it when I don't mention it. But genuinely fun. I had a good time. Had my cage match, taken my fall, almost broke my neck. Still here to take the tail. Look forward to being 65 and recounting such stories. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell ding ding so that video is going live. There will be another video on the screen. Please do give it a click. Otherwise, goodofmine.com for Simon get 10% off. I like these supplements. Use my Samson Athletic link down there below to get my Fitness Palace of Love tee at Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter. Patreon.com for Simon316. Otherwise, on Cameo, if you want to shout out, could be anything. Christmas is coming round. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, we can do all of that. That's that for that. Thank you for joining me as always. We'll have more wrestling matches soon, including the one where I show you what I learnt from what I would call an average spear. You take care. See you soon.